Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. Do you have the right legal documents in place for your business? Do you even know what they are? Many people set up a business without paying much attention to their legal obligations, which could lead them to a world of hurt later on. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Solicitor Tracey Mylecharane has seen many businesses become unstuck because they didn't have the right documents in place. Tracey is an advocate of the prevention is better than cure strategy when it comes to legal preparedness. She explains why to Chris Ashmore.
I spent the first 12 or so years of my career in dispute resolution and litigation. So in all of those years, I saw hundreds of business owners ending up in those really time-consuming, lengthy, expensive court disputes. And the reason I now advocate for prevention being better than cure is because just about all of those cases that I was involved in could have been avoided. And I just don't think business owners need to end up there. There really is a better way.
What is a better way then? It's getting those documents in order, is that right?
It absolutely is getting documents in order. It's prioritising, recording what you've agreed in writing. And I say often to my clients that the core trio of documents that any business owner needs, and you must start here, are your business terms and conditions. And they can be called different things. That can be called your service agreement or your client service agreement, your design agreement, whatever suits your business. But essentially, it is your business terms and conditions. Then there's your website terms and conditions and your privacy policy.
Well, let's go through each one, I suppose, and, starting with the T's and C's, what do people need to think about there?
The business terms and conditions ought to serve three purposes, Chris. So first of all, as service providers or business owners that are selling goods, we need to be complying with our obligations under the consumer law if we want to be protected. So the consumer law doesn't just apply to businesses like Harvey Norman when we need to replace our faulty toaster. It applies to all businesses, including service providers. So we've got obligations to tell clients certain things in a certain way. Our business terms and conditions will do that. Secondly, we want to be protected as business owners. So the layers of protection that are offered in our business T's and C's cannot be underestimated. And third, as I always say, our business documents are an extension of our business. We work hard in our business. We're proud of our business. We want our documents to reflect that. So business T's and C's go a long way to doing all of those things. They are vital to protect a business.
Well, those are the terms and conditions. And next, there's the website terms and conditions. How are they different?
They're different because they govern the rules, if you like, for how consumers or clients can use your website. And these days, just about every business has a website. And on the website, we're selling our services or we're selling our goods. So some websites have shops or checkouts. Some have blogs. Some have articles. Some have links to third-party websites. Without proper website terms and conditions, the business is not protected in relation to all of the things that can go wrong there. The other thing that's becoming increasingly important is unique work being published on websites these days, so we've got to be able to protect our intellectual property too.
Can you give an example of what a website terms and conditions document looks like, and where is it? Is it on the website itself as well?
It is. So you'll find them located at the bottom of the homepage usually. You scroll to the bottom of someone's homepage and there's always a link to website terms or terms of use or terms and conditions and a separate link to privacy policy. You click on them and that's where you access them. And it actually says these are the rules governing the use of the website. A common example that I give to my service-based business clients is if you're providing information or guidelines or a view or some tips and tricks on your website, you want to make it very clear that that's general information only, and you don't want users of your website to go away, rely on it, not get the outcome that they perceived that they should have got, and come back and make a complaint or an allegation against you saying your information's wrong, I relied on it, didn't get the outcome I wanted, you've misrepresented something to me and I'd like to sue you. We don't want to get sued. So that's the number one example that I give around one of the most important purposes for the website terms and conditions. We really do need to be thinking along these lines as business owners, because I tell you what, we work hard and it doesn't take much to bring all that unstuck if we get a really unreasonable complaint or allegation made against us.
Well, you mentioned privacy policy, and that's the third on your list. What is that exactly, and why is that important?
In this day and age, everything's digital, Chris, and what we do now is we hand over our personal data on websites without even thinking about it. And personal data can be as simple as a name and an email address. So in Australia, we have some Commonwealth legislation called the Privacy Act, and that Privacy Act sets out a whole host of obligations on business owners based on size as to what it is that they have to tell consumers about how they're going to treat their data and what they're going to do with it. And importantly, my view is that it is proper practice to disclose to consumers how you're going to treat their personal data and circumstances that you're going to disclose it. Now, you and I know that most small businesses or business owners aren't going to do anything with the data unless they're required to by law. So, for example, if you were subpoenaed by the AFP, something like that. But this all needs to be set out in the privacy policy. This privacy legislation is actually currently under review as well. So previously, small businesses were excluded from certain obligations, but there's proposals put forward that those exclusions ought to be removed. So my view, to put it in simple terms, is every business really needs to have a privacy policy, because these days every business is handling personal data.
Now, those are the three big ones. What are some other things that people need to be in mind of when it comes to documents?
There are others, and it all depends on the nature of the business and what the business is doing. So, for example, if a business has a team, whether employees or contractors, then most definitely employee or employment agreements are required, or in the case of contractors, independent contractor agreements are required. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had to try and dig people out of tricky situations that they've gotten into because they haven't recorded things in writing. So again, that could have been avoided. Another very important one is if a business is operating as a company with shareholders or other directors, then a shareholders agreement needs to be in place. Or even if it's not a corporate entity but we're in partnership, a partnership agreement needs to be in place. If we're doing some joint ventures with other businesses and collaborating, a joint venture agreement needs to be in place. So it's really dictated or determined by the activities of the business. But the rule of thumb, if you're doing something with someone, it needs to be recorded in writing in some form or other.
Well, of course, it's ideal that a business has these documents in place from day one, but for those who don't, it's not too late to start now, is it? And what steps should they do to ensure that their legal house is in order?
It's absolutely not too late. It's never too late. Look, we're not in a perfect world, so we don't all get to do all the things in order that we'd like to for the reasons that I said a moment ago. We're time poor and we don't know what we don't know. But the best course of action is, if any of this is resonating with a business owner, or if a business owner has a to-do list and the legals are down the bottom, or they're not sure what they need, reach out and talk to their business lawyer. And if they don't have one, connect with one. Because the ability to pick up the phone and ask the question, or send an email to ask the question, is priceless. Ask the question. I have clients that come to me all the time and they say to me, I don't know what I need you to do, but I know I need your help. That's fantastic, because it's an open, clean slate, and we start from the beginning and work through together to work out what's needed.
That was solicitor Tracey Mylecharane. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.